Onoki. Senju Tobarama may be very strong, but his vision for picking apprentices is really bad. Orochimaru. Although I just did a little research, I can still use reanimation jutsu. I wonder if Senju Tobarama needs to be resurrected by me. Hehehehe. Grandma Chio. I have to say that Danzo has carried out the purpose of the root, that is, never exposed to the sun, but only hidden in the ground. Fourth Raikage. Looking at it like this, he seems to be doing it right. Ha 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 ha. Senju Hashirama. Look at the good apprentice you taught. Now you are a complete joke. Senju Tobarama. Oh, I really want to die. I am so ashamed. Uchiha Madara. HMPH, the good disciples you taught. First let the Senju clan integrate into the folk, and then designed to eliminate Uchiha. And now the two leaders who established Konoha disappeared, and Sleepy Leaf became their property. Kakuzu. In the end, you are all losers. Scorpion. This guy can still be a Hokage, and the daimyo of the fire country is not quite right. Jiraiya. Konoha's high-level officials are so indifferent to Konoha's sacrifice. If Nagato doesn't resurrect everyone in the end, then what if you become Hokage? Terumi Mei. Indeed, if Pain hadn't had a mental twitch of Chi Lu-san at the end, Konoha would have been destroyed almost directly. Even if Danzo became a Hokage, what could he do without anyone under him? Hoshigaki Kisame. With the roots under his hands, there must be not enough manpower. Yagura. I don't know what this guy is thinking, but he still prevents others from bringing in reinforcements. How can he confirm that these sacrificed people can be resurrected after they die? Luo Sha. Maybe he doesn't care about the lives of these people at all. After all, it's his code of conduct to walk in the dark all year round and not hesitate to sacrifice anything in order to achieve his goal. Third Raikage. All in all, this person can no longer be regarded as a human being. The first thing Danzo, who became Hokage, did was rebuild Konoha. Instead, he went to the Iron Country with his hands to participate in the upcoming 5 Cages conference. At the meeting, Danzo used the eyes of Uchiha Shisui to subtly change the mind of the host Mifune, making him favor himself and become the commander-in-chief of the Ninja Alliance. But Owl with white eyes recognized Danzo's eyes under the bandage as Uchiha Shisui's eyes. Not only that, but Danzo is also suspected of using Uchiha Shisui's Sharingan to perform illusions. Danzo was speechless. Just at this time, the troublemaker White Zetsu appeared and disrupted everyone's thinking. Suddenly, Obito, wearing a Uzumaki mask, announced his project Tsuki no Mi to the 5 Cages, and officially declared war on the 5 great nations. And, when the king announced that Sasuke was here, Danzo immediately knew that what Obito meant that Sasuke was coming for him. However, Fourth Raikage was furious because his brother Killer Bee was missing, and it was confirmed that Sasuke had taken him before he disappeared. Now hearing that Sasuke is on the scene, Fourth Raikage naturally wants to find Sasuke and ask the whereabouts of Killer Bee. Then Sasuke came on stage, but was attacked by Gokage fiercely. Obito rescued Sasuke, let Sasuke recuperate in the Kamui space, and Obito himself went to chase the escaped Danzo. Taking advantage of the chaos, Danzo left the Land of Iron with 2 of his men and headed towards the Land of Fire. But on a bridge, stopped by Obito. Seeing that a battle was inevitable, Obito said to the 2 subordinates in a deep voice. Give me a few minutes to delay, it will take some time to lift the seal. Yes. 2 of his minions responded, then rushed to Obito. Obito was also waiting for Sasuke to recover from his injuries and pupil power, so he played tricks on the 2 of them, and after confirming that Sasuke recovered, the group killed them. At this time, Danzo also untied the so-called seal and untied the bandage on his right hand. The above situation shocked the entire live broadcast room. Deidara. This, am I right? This is all Sharingan? Haitu. Huh. How disgusting. Onoki. Is this one of the reasons why he wants to destroy Uchiha? For Sharingan? Fourth Raikage. What's the use of having so many Sharingan? And can you see things when you get it on your arm? Grandma Chio. I am afraid that these Sharingan have other purposes, but if it is not for Mangekyo Sharingan, there will be no Mangekyo pupil art. Orochimaru. He, this is one of my masterpieces. Unfortunately, the user is not very smart, so this arm is wasted. Jiraiya. Wait. Uchiha was exterminated after you defected. Could it be that Danzo had already collected so many Sharingan by then? Kakuzu. You have discovered a blind spot, so it is indeed possible to think so. Hidan. I still don't quite understand. Is it useful to have so many eyes on the arms? Can you see what's behind you by stretching your hands behind? Tsunade. Impossible. There is no optic nerve connected to the brain on the arm. Those eyes are just transplanted to the arm. Why can there be so many eyes on the arm without any problems? Orochimaru. This is the mystery of the human body. Everyone looks the same, but there are always differences in subtleties, just like the blood succession boundary. Terumi Mei. So, he took the time to make this arm. What effect can it play? Sasuke was released by Obito and saw the Sharingan on Danzo's right arm at a glance. Sasuke's eyes widened on the spot. What happened to your right hand? Danzo said lightly. The story here is a bit complicated, and it will be very long to tell. Never mind. Sasuke said coldly. Knowing that will only increase my anger to kill you. However, before I kill you, I have a question for you. Danzo looked at Sasuke without saying a word. Sasuke stared at Danzo. Did the Konoha high-level officials, including you, issue an order for Uchiha Itachi to kill the Uchiha clan? Danzo didn't speak, and after slowly forming 3 seals, he rushed towards Sasuke quickly. A powerful punch landed on Sasuke's body, but Sasuke didn't budge. Danzo lowered his head in surprise, only to see that his fist was blocked by the rib-like creation of chakra. Looking up suddenly, he saw Mangekyo Sharingan, the 6-pointed star in Sasuke's eyes. Startled, Danzo backed away abruptly. Swish. A huge palm held Danzo directly in his hand. Danzo was pinched and completely powerless to break free. Answer me. Sasuke said angrily. Did you give the order at all? Danzo still tried to struggle, but it only drew an angry squeeze from Sasuke. Puff. Danzo spat out a mouthful of blood, then said. I thought he was someone who could keep secrets. Before he died, he still told all the secrets. Sure enough, only you are the special one to him. Sasuke's pupils are vibrating, which means that what Obito told him is true. Great pain and anger made his Susanoo rise even further. Susanoo, who had only bones, was covered with muscles and skin, and a monster-like head appeared. Danzo didn't notice the change, and was still chattering away. Self-sacrifice. This is a ninja, and it is also the posture of ninjas since ancient times. Not only Itachi, but many ninjas died in obscurity. The peace you have is preserved precisely because of their sacrifices. You don't understand Itachi's will, so you'll never understand Itachi's why. Pooh. Sasuke couldn't listen anymore, and directly crushed Danzo to death. You are not allowed to talk about Itachi. The people in the live broadcast room were taken aback for a moment. Waited for a long time. The result is this. Deidara. The gaudy thing in the front is to unseal again, and to do this and that, and this is the end. Fourth Raikage. This kind of guy is also quite shadowy. Does he look down on shadows too much? Onoki. It was crushed to death like a fly. Hidan. So, what is that arm for? Kakuzu. Maybe we will never know, unless I show up to explain. Grandma Chio. Wait. Why is the video still going on? Isn't Danzo dead? Terumi Mei. Looks like things are turning around. Orochimaru. No matter how you say it, he is also a high-ranking member of Konoha. Although his strength cannot be said to be very high, he is not such a reckless guy. Jiraiya. The arm you installed for Danzo, you know what those eyes do. Danzo was dumbfounded. He never expected that one of his whole cards would be made public like this. If others don't know the function of these eyes, how can he not know? Now that he is seen by others, the next time he encounters an enemy, the enemy will definitely be prepared. But fortunately, there is still a whole card that has not been announced. Just kill this Sasuke before these eyes are exhausted. Danzo is clearly obsessed with himself. Susanoo didn't care about Sasuke at all. I don't know what gave him such a big reliance. Now I don't care about the content in the video, it's important to find Ache quickly. As long as you find Ache can instantly kill that person named Otsutsuki Momoji. This strength is enough to dominate the ninja world. I must find Ache faster than anyone else. Under the curious eyes of everyone, they all focused their attention on the video screen. Then, they saw the second after Sasuke finished speaking. Danzo's voice came from behind Sasuke. Okay. Then for the next battle, let's use our eyes to speak. The moment he finished speaking, a handful of kunai slipped out of Danzo's left sleeve. Danzo grabbed it and stabbed it at a very fast speed. Sasuke didn't even have time to turn around, and from the corner of his eye, he could only see that Danzo had quickly posted it. Then, ding, crisp sound. Sasuke looked at the broken kunai in surprise. His eyes seemed to ask again. Are you serious? The entire live broadcast room fell into a silent silence. It's like the calm before the storm. Then, the storm came. Deidara. Am I right? Is he serious? Hoshigaki Kisame. This incident proves that Danzo is still very serious about defending Susanoo. No way. I can't make it up anymore. Is he a fool? Fourth Raikage. Laozi's punch that could smash the ground did not destroy this rib, but you want to destroy it with a small kunai. I feel insulted. Grandma Chio. Ha 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 ha. Ah ha 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 ha. Orochimaru. This is really an eye-opener. Onoki. At least, Danzo told us that it is impossible for a dagger to break through Susanoo's defense. Naruto. Is this grandpa dementia? He clearly confirmed it with his fist, so why not suffer? Sasuke. Will I be able to have such a powerful power when I grow up? I really want to grow up quickly so that I can seek revenge from Itachi. Uchiha Fugaku. That's right. My good son, I must kill that shame. Kakuzu. Obviously there is a great opportunity, but he took the initiative to remind him, and he also used a weak weapon like kunai. Did he get kicked in the head by a donkey? Scorpion. Facts have proved that Konoha's people will always make some good shows that make people dumbfounded. Tsunade. Konoha's face is completely lost. Uchiha Iron Tree. As this Izanagi? This guy took away the Sharingan of so many people just to cast Izanagi? Jiraiya. I think this scene looks familiar. When Shisui's eyes were taken away before, he also used a similar move. Uchiha Madara. Is this Konoha's high level? I didn't expect Konoha to fall into the hands of such a guy. It's really sad. Hashirama. Senju Hashirama. What does it have to do with me? These guys are all apprentices of that kid Tobirama. Senju Tobirama. Wait, big brother. Why do you turn your face and deny people? Monkey, you also recognized it back then, okay. Kakashi. Stop talking, 2 seniors, Konoha is already embarrassing enough. Might Guy. Danzo's body skills still need to be strengthened. If he can use the 5th gate of 8 inner gates at this time, there may be a chance to break Susanoo's defense. Luo Sha. This is the speech of an authoritative person. After all, he almost kicked Uchiha Madara in 6 paths mode to death. Although he burned out because of it, the flash of that moment is unforgettable. Pain. It's this kind of guy who designed to kill Yahiko. Conan. It's a pity that we don't have the chance to kill this guy to avenge Yahiko. Uzumaki Kushina. It seems that it is really dementia, and it is impossible for a normal person to perform such an operation. There was laughter in the live broadcast room, except for Konoha's people. After all, no matter what Danzo said, he was also from Konoha. When seeing Danzo make such an outrageous operation, other people are watching the fun, and Konoha's person seems to be the kind of social death who is dressed in women's clothing in school and is broadcast loudly. They can't wait to destroy Danzo immediately. It's outrageous. Suzuki. Is this something a normal person can do? If you insist, Danzo doesn't know Susanoo's strength. What was that punch in the front? Could it be said that with a handful of kunai, your attack power will double up? Isn't this nonsense? And the most outrageous thing is that there is even a sound reminder between the hands. Not only did Sasuke have time to defend, but he wasted a great opportunity. It doesn't get any more outrageous than this. But everyone complains about it, and you still have to continue watching the video. The attack failed, and Danzo was directly punched into the ground minister by Sasuke's sequel. But soon, an intact Danzo appeared on a stone pillar, looking down at Sasuke. Sasuke punched directly, shattering the stone pillar and forcing Danzo to jump high. Seeing that Danzo was unavoidable in the air, Sasuke leapt vigorously and quickly ascended inside Susanoo. His closed left eye suddenly opened when it reached the sequel's head. Amaterasu. The scorching black flame immediately ignited on Danzo's body. Then Danzo fell from the sky screaming, and was quickly burned up. But the next moment, The intact Danzo reappeared behind Sasuke. Just like a Xiaoqiang who will always be immune to death. Deidara. I have to say, it's quite difficult, but I always feel that this arm is a bit of a waste for Danzo. Onoki. Danzo's strength itself is not very strong, and it is indeed much worse than Sarutobi Hiruzen. After all, Danzo focuses more on cultivating rooted ninjas. Grandma Chio. But it seems that he is really too weak. These few shots did not threaten Sasuke at all, and even the strength of a ninja who has been famous for many years has not been fully displayed. Fourth Raikage. To put it simply, how can this guy be the top of Konoha? This strength is probably not as good as a genin. Terumi Mei. It's not easy. With Sarutobi Hiruzen, even if Danzo turns into ashes, he can still enjoy the highest standard funeral in Konoha. Luo Sha. What you said is so reasonable, I can't even refute it. Hidan. I don't need this ability, because I believe in Lord Cthulhu and I won't die. Kakuzu. Izanagi, it is indeed a sorcery. If it is used by someone as powerful as Uchiha Madara, I am afraid no one will be able to guard against it. Hoshigaki Kisame. I'm curious, Danzo's right eye should be that Shisui's eye. Then why doesn't he use distinguished heavenly gods? Orochimaru. T. Tsunade. Black soil. Hoshigaki Kisame silenced everyone with one word. It was only then that everyone remembered that Danzo has Shisui's Mangekyo. Then why not use distinguished heavenly gods to directly control Sasuke? Isn't that once and for all? And get a powerful thug who can wield Susanoo. How could Danzo not have thought of killing 2 birds with 1 stone, or even 3 birds? Is Danzo really dementia? When I was at the 5 cages just now, I still remember using Shisui's eyes to change the mind of the host Mifune. As a result, when it came to the battle, Danzo forgot his right eye. This memory ability, everyone can only think of this aspect. After all, Danzo's age, dementia is not impossible. Only. This thing is really outrageous. In the video, Sasuke lost his wrist shield because of excessive consumption of pupil power, Susanoo disappeared. And at this moment, Danzo seized the opportunity and immediately attacked Sasuke. Wind-style vacuum sphere. I saw Danzo took a deep breath, then closed his eyes and pouted, just like a child spitting out watermelon seeds after eating watermelon. This scene immediately amused the people in the live broadcast room. Deidara. Haha, he looks like a frog. Hidan. What a frog. It's a toad. Look at his disgusting arm. Onoki. What a real image. It really doesn't look like a person. Luo Sha. I feel like a fool, stupid. Grandma Chio. Ha ha ha, I laughed so hard. Ah ha ha ha. Ebizo. Sister, lighten up, although I know it's really funny, but you have to catch your breath, don't laugh it off. Baki. When I use wind style, I must be much more handsome than him. Tamari. Teacher Baki, you are much more handsome than this old man. Konkuro. At least Mr. Baki, you won't pout like him, it's too stupid. Gaara. Why is he closing his eyes? Black soil. Maybe to better imitate the toad? Jiraiya. Don't slander Toad. Toad is much more handsome than Danzo. Naruto. On this point, I have to agree with Pervy Sage. Kakashi. Stop talking. Isn't it embarrassing enough? At this moment, it was Danzo who was ridiculed. But it was all Konoha's people who felt uncomfortable. It is really tormenting to have such a high-level person. The exhausted kind. This moment. They can't wait to physically transcend Danzo with their own hands. So as not to continue to harm Konoha. Although Danzo uses wind style to look like a frog spitting bubbles. However, Danzo does have a hand in wind style. Only. Maybe it's because the eyes are closed, this accuracy is really not good. Obviously wind style is very fast, but also has invisible characteristics. But after spraying randomly, it only scratches Sasuke's arm slightly, which has no effect on Sasuke's combat effectiveness at all. This series of attacks only forced Sasuke out of the top of the dam, and Sasuke summoned a big eagle with a summoning technique, thus avoiding the possibility of becoming a target in the air. Subsequently, Sasuke took the initiative to attack, cooperated with the big eagle to use a series of attacks, and even used himself as a bait to cut off Danzo's right arm, and Sasuke took the opportunity to almost cut Danzo into 2 pieces. But still useless. Danzo still appeared alive and well on the stone pillars of the dam. Sasuke raised his head coldly, and a large number of black crows suddenly appeared on his body. The crow rushed to Danzo's side and suddenly turned into Uchiha Itachi. Danzo was stunned. Sasuke had already come behind Danzo. The grass pheasant sword in his hand was already behind Danzo, and he only needed to send it lightly to stab Danzo through. However, at the last moment, Sasuke's body did not move. It can be seen from Sasuke's face that Sasuke is working hard. But his body seemed to have suddenly lost control, completely unable to move. Compared to your brother's illusion, your illusion is too poor, Danzo said without looking back. And the crows around Danzo and Uchiha Itachi have quietly disappeared. Danzo first turned his back to Sasuke and made a seal. Untie. Then, he turned around and took the grass pheasant sword from Sasuke, who couldn't move. At this time, black lines can be clearly seen on Sasuke's face and neck. It seems that this line is controlling Sasuke's body, making him unable to move freely. With a wave of Danzo's hand, the sharp grass pheasant sword quickly approached Sasuke's neck from top to bottom. Seeing that he was about to be decapitated with a knife. In this instant, a large number of purple chakras suddenly appeared from Sasuke's body, forcing Tiantian back suddenly. In this purple chakra, Susanoo is constructed again. But unlike the previous Susanoo, this time Susanoo is richer in details. Only the skull of the skeleton was also armored. Not only the right hand is covered with muscles and skin, but the left hand and half of the body are also covered with muscles and skin. It was as if Susanoo had entered a new phase. And on Susanoo's hands, there are also bows and arrows. Susanoo, who represents Sasuke, has her own weapon. The backed Danzo seemed inescapable in the air. But Danzo spit out air from his mouth, changed his direction, and landed on the top of the dam. But Sasuke just stared at this moment, and the fully drawn bowstring immediately ejected, shooting the arrow out at an extremely fast speed. It's too late to seal. Danzo's face changed, and then the clothes on his right arm and shoulders squirmed suddenly. Boom! Smoke enveloped Danzo, but it dissipates quickly. This time, Danzo did not die under Sasuke's attack. But it revealed another surprising thing. I saw Danzo's right arm tightly attached to a big tree. Or rather, it's as if the tree grew out of Danzo's right arm. It was also by virtue of this big tree that suddenly appeared that Sasuke's attack deviated from the trajectory. Sasuke immediately made an additional attack. But Danzo has already sealed in time and used Izanagi again, giving himself the ability to rewrite reality. However, the people in the live broadcast room are not focusing on the direction of the battle for the time being. They looked at the big tree and talked about it. Onoki. Good guy, isn't Danzo's surname Shimura's surname Senju? Grandma Chio. How can Danzo use wood style? I've never seen him use it before. Hanzo of the Salamander. An old silver coin actually hides such a killer move. I'm afraid this move is not used for defense at all. Scorpion. This is a suicide move with the enemy, but with Izanagi, only the enemy will die, and he will be intact. Fourth Raikage. Vicious moves. Tsunade. This is not the wood style used by Danzo. This is Orochimaru. Did you see it? As expected of you, Tsunade. Senju Hashirama's cells, together with this unique arm. This is my masterpiece. Unfortunately, the user is not very smart. Jiraiya. Orochimaru. You are simply deceiving your master and destroying your ancestors. Citrate Yagura. I didn't expect one of the Sannin to be so naive. Orochimaru was able to carry out this kind of research, and it must be inseparable from the support of high-level officials. From the results, Danzo is a supporter, but Sarutobi Hiruzen is not necessarily ignorant. Orochimaru. Of course they know, without their tacit consent, how could I have so much rich material to experiment with? Uchiha Madara. Use the cells of Hashirama to keep active, and only the cells of Hashirama can control so many Sharingan without collapsing, but the amount of chakra that needs to be consumed is also very amazing. No wonder this guy started from the beginning. He sealed his right arm. Uchiha Izuna. But judging from the results, the way he used Izanagi was really wasteful, blinding the eyes of those tribesmen. Sarutobi Hiruzen. Danzo. You guys put Hashirama-sama's cells on your body. It's crazy. Danzo was dumbfounded. He never expected that another killer move that he had hidden would be exposed like this. And just as Scorpion speculated, this move is in conjunction with Izunaki's ultimate move. But now that everyone is prepared, how can he use it? Doesn't that mean stripping his bottoms clean for others to see? Don't leave him any secrets. What bothers Danzo the most is that he still hasn't found Ake's whereabouts. Obviously he was about to run all over the forest near Konoha, but he didn't even see the slightest shadow of Ake. The key point is that Danzo still needs to avoid Sarutobi Hiruzen. If Sarutobi Hiruzen is entangled, Danzo will have no chance to find Ake. Sasuke's attack actually hit Danzo. But Danzo, who used Izanagi, naturally appeared in another place unscathed. Danzo then summoned a giant elephant summoning. It is even several times larger than Sasuke's bust, Susanoo. The summoning beast opened its mouth wide, and the violent suction immediately restrained Sasuke in place, unable to move. At this time, Danzo bypassed behind Sasuke from the side, and used the enhanced version of the wind to break through a little defense of Susanoo. Then he rushed up very confidently, but Sasuke is just a simple fire style, stuffing a great fireball into the summoning beast's mouth, forcing the summoning beast to shut up. And Sasuke regained his mobility, and after turning around, Susanoo hammered Danzo into the wall with one punch. Danzo's Izanagi came into effect and became alive and well again. Then Sasuke took the initiative again and plaqued Danzo in one fell swoop. And her own pupil power also reached the limit. Susanoo disappeared again. Seeing the weak Sasuke turn his back to him, the defensive Susanoo disappeared. Danzo immediately jumped up high, holding a handful of kunai tightly in his hand. Then he was hit by 3 shurikens thrown by Sasuke with a wave, and the only 3 eyes left on Danzo's right arm closed one again. This series of operations, not to mention shocking the audience in the live broadcast room, really stunned the people in the live broadcast room. Onoki. Danzo doesn't know that fire style is the specialty of the Uchiha clan. Does he have a sick mind to use such a strong wind to strengthen the power of fire style? Deidara. Didn't his wind style just break through Susanoo's skin? The hardest bone is still there. Does he still want to repeat Kunosashi's brilliant achievements? 4th Raikage. Ha ha ha. Maybe his brain is not working well all of a sudden. After all, he is a dementia patient. Grandma Chiyo. Ha ha ha. Can't even hide 3 shurikens. I've never seen such a weak guy. Terumi Mei. Wouldn't it be better to just rush over? Why do you jump so high? Are you afraid that Sasuke won't be able to react? Orochimaru. What a waste of my masterpiece. Kakuzu. So, why doesn't he use the eyes of Shongshui? Killer Bee. They said it was dementia, he must have forgotten it. Scorpion. Alzheimer's disease is really scary, turning a guy who should be scary into such a ridiculous guy. Kakuzu. What a poor junior, he got such a serious illness at such a young age, and the people who owe Konoha can still let him hold an important position. Oh. As Sarutobi Yuuzhan appointed? That's okay. Pain. With this strength, even if there are 100 Sharingans who let him use Izanagi, they will be easily killed by me. 3rd Raikage. The current Konoha is a crumbling old tree. The old guy who should abdicate occupies the position and does not leave. Instead, he is still hustling. If it is not for Naruto and the others, Konoha will be destroyed in these few days sooner or later. In the hands of a guy. 2nd Tsuchikage. In fact, Konoha has already been destroyed once by Danzo. After all, when Pain attacked, he chose to remain silent, and even cut off the message that notified Naruto, which destroyed the entire Konoha. Temari. It was an eye-opener. I will definitely not become a cancerous tumor like him in the future. Konkuro. To be honest, would Konoha be better without these old guys? Obviously there are powerful ninjas like Kakashi and Might Guy. Haitu. That's for sure. These old guys just don't know what it means to abdicate. Onoki. Wait. Why do I feel something is wrong? Continuous deaths keep Danzo's Sharingan dwindling. Also lets Danzo blur the remaining Sharingan amount. Danzo holding kunai looked down. Only the Sharingan on the back of his hand was still open. In other words, the chance left for Danzo is gone. Fortunately, Sasuke has also come to the end of his battle. Both of them had only the most strength left for a blow. Danzo blew on kunai, causing kunai to extend a long blade. Sasuke used Chidori, turning Chidori into a long sword form. Subsequently, the two confront each other, neither dodging nor dodging each other's attacks. The sharp attack pierced through the opponent at the same time. Danzo smiled. I won. However, Danzo's smile didn't last long and he vomited blood instead. What's going on? Why didn't Izanagi take effect? Danzo looked down and saw that the Sharingan, which was still open, had closed at some point. How come? Danzo couldn't believe it, backed away and fell to the ground. But at this time, the severe injury caused the chakra in his body to go berserk, and could no longer suppress the cells of Senju Hashirama. From Danzo's right arm burst a towering tree. And there is no tendency to stop growing at all. Danzo will be swallowed by the giant tree if it is not stopped. Make a prompt decision. Danzo broke the arboreal right arm directly, and then untied the bandage, revealing Shisui's eyes, ready to fight Sasuke for the final battle. But Danzo still did not use Shisui's pupil technique to control Sasuke, but planned to leave the pupil technique to Obito, who has been watching the show. But a pity to buy. This kind of greedy behavior made him pay the price of his life. Finally, when Danzo fled in panic, under Sasuke's unhurried pursuit, when Obito blocked the road ahead, Danzo finally made up his mind and used the last Lishixiang seal to. The dam is sealed up. Deidara. It's really embarrassing to die, and is the seal in the end a joke? Can any genin run out of the seal range at this speed? Onoki. The Rizeixiang seal is like this. It is more to prevent the enemy from obtaining his own body. After all, for ninjas, the corpse contains a lot of information. Kakuzu. But it cannot be denied that Danzo is really stupid. If he had used Shisui's eyes earlier, he would definitely not have died in such an embarrassing way as he is now. Grandma Chio. He has done enough stupid things, this level can no longer make me laugh. Luo Sha. I was even more curious then. Will Danzo appear in the subsequent large-scale Impure World reincarnation? Hoshigaki Kisame. Don't you know if you continue to watch? If there is, the video will continue. Fourth Raikage. I really didn't pay attention to this, it seems that the strength is a little weak. Third Kazekage. I was not Impure World reincarnation. Scorpion. That's because you were made into a puppet by me. Impure World reincarnation needs the body tissues of the dead before they were alive. Hidan. Don't make noise. Hurry up and watch the video. It's been dark for a long time, why doesn't it turn on? Everyone's attention was immediately focused on the screen. They're all waiting for the video to continue, to see if Danzo can give them some tricks. Then, they saw a line of writing on the video screen. The first comparison video is over, so, now start playing the second comparison video, which is the Ninja World video behind 8Kai. Now, everyone has confirmed it. The massive Impure World reincarnation does not have Danzo. Now the big guys started talking again. Deidara, Stone Hammer. Danzo is not strong. Onoki. It's no wonder. After all, Danzo doesn't look like a strong man at all. He doesn't hide any attacks that should be avoided. Fourth Raikage. Looked very fast when he took away Shisui's eyes, but now it's almost blind. Orochimaru. Wait. Does this mean that Shisui's eye fell into Obito's hands? He never used it? Kakuzu. Who knows, maybe there are too many eyes, I don't know which one to use. Scorpion. No matter what, I got to know Danzo's many secrets, as well as his dementia. Luo Sha. When fighting Danzo, you still need to be careful of Danzo's distinguished heavenly gods. Grandma Chio. So what if you give him distinguished heavenly gods? You won't be able to use them, it's a waste. Uchiha Madara. Shut up. Didn't you see Ake's video started? After Uchiha Madara's reminder, everyone reacted, and the second video started. Everyone gathered their eyes and focused on the video screen. The dark picture in between unfolded little by little. It is as if a person's eyes are opened. The owner of the eyes seems to be lying on the ground, looking up at the sky covered by dark clouds. Not a ray of sunshine in sight, at this time. Screen everything. A blood-stained baby lay among a pile of corpses, looking up at the sky with bewildered eyes. The fine rain fell on his body, washing away the blood on his body bit by bit. Soon, the baby closed his eyes tiredly, letting the rain wash away. If it continues, sooner or later, the baby will die in this place where no one cares about it because of the cold. But there is no such thing as an absolute path. A pair of legs appeared beside the baby. Then the owner of the legs squatted down, reached out and picked up the baby. The picture also moves up with the baby, and then reveals the owner of the legs. Still young Danzo. This time. Directly showing it to the people in the live broadcast room made my heart tremble. Didera. It's over, it's over, it's over. It's already an unusual start, and it was taken away by Danzo, the scourge. Hidan. It's the beginning of hell. Terumi Mei. It's alright now, there will be no good results if you hang out with Danzo. Onoki. Not necessarily, after all Ake has created so many miracles, maybe this time he can break the game too. Uchiha Madara. HMPH. Even the caged bird of the Hyuga clan can't trap Ake, it's just Danzo, can it trap my brother Ake? Hoshigaki Kisame. But one thing to say, there are not many people under Danzo who have a good ending, and they all died miserably. Orochimaru. It should be okay now, after all, the route has not been established, but after the establishment of the route, the casualties under Danzo's hands are countless. Orochimaru's words gave everyone a little comfort. Although they all know that this is impossible. After all, according to the historical trajectory, Danzo must create routes. And Ake, who was just a baby at this time, certainly couldn't change Danzo's mind. After Ake grows up, how can he escape Danzo's control? Under the worried eyes of everyone, the video continued. When Ake opened his eyes again, what I saw was not a bright ward, but a dark, damp dungeon without light. There are many babies around his age, most of them can only crawl, and only a few can stand up. Ake is not a child who can stand up, he can only crawl in the damp dungeon. Not long after, Danzo came to the door of the dungeon, and put some milky food at the entrance. If you want to eat, then fight for it. Only the winner can enjoy the food. Facing a group of babies, Tuan uttered extremely cold words. Then, Danzo turned and left. He didn't seem to care about the situation in the dungeon at all. Smelling the food, the babies moved towards it. Because they are all hungry. Even Ake is the same. But food proficiency is limited. Just enough for 3 babies. But there are more than 30 babies in the dungeon. In this small dungeon, 30 babies have not yet enjoyed the warm love of their parents, but they are thrown into the cruel forest law. Survival of the fittest. Ake knew the truth very well, so he didn't rush to crawl over, but squeezed his small fist, and hit the nearest child hard in the eyes. Wow! Immediately, the child who was beaten started to cry miserably. Ake didn't stop, and after climbing a few steps, he slapped other unsuspecting babies one after another. Soon, there were only cries and cries in the dungeon. And Ake, guarding all the food alone, swallowed it all like a wolf. The cries of the dungeon attracted Danzo. Danzo, who was on patrol, followed the crying and found Ake holding 3 large bowls. The other children were still sobbing, but they dared not approach Ake. At this moment, in Danzo's eyes, Ake is like a tiger protecting its food, with fierce eyes in his eyes. Danzo was shocked. He had never seen a child with such aggressive eyes. Didera. I always feel that Master Ake is a little different this time. Black soil. Just like the puppet master, completely different. Terumi Mei. Danzo is too cruel. Such a small child, let them grab food. Onoki. I still underestimated Danzo's bottom line, this guy is simply not human. Grandma Chio. Really, insane. Uchiha Madara. This is just a stopgap measure. Only by eating enough can we grow up healthily. Believe in Brother Ake, he will not let us down. Ake, who played well, was soon taken to a new dungeon by Danzo. Only then did Ake discover that Danzo had built many dungeons here. Some are empty, some are full of children. The youngest is a baby like Ake, and the oldest is no more than 3 years old, sitting in the dungeon with a blank face. Soon, Ake was placed in a new dungeon with older babies who were able to walk on their own, as well as 2- and 3-year-olds. Ake knows that he has been promoted to a new circle, which also increases the difficulty of obtaining food. How can a baby who can't even stand up snatch food from these people? Ake doesn't need to worry about it for now, because he is full. A well-fed Ake has plenty of time to observe. After several hours, Danzo brought the food again. There is still only food for 3 people. The children in the dungeon were firmly attracted by the smell of food. Then, like a hungry tiger jumping on a wolf, he rushed straight away. Anyone who dares to stand in front of them will be severely beaten. Even if it's just a little baby. Aik watched all this, observing silently. Xiaoli looked for the weaknesses of these children. Several more hours passed. The food order is placed at the entrance by Danzo. The aroma of the food once again attracted the scramble. This time, Aik did not continue to watch from the sidelines. He chose to go out on his own initiative. Aik, who had occupied the favorable terrain in advance, even if he could only lie on his stomach and could not establish a height advantage, he still showed his true nature of being ruthless. And his height is just right for everyone's vital parts. The most important thing is that this vital part is severely injured, which can immediately make people lose their fighting ability and even their ability to move. Because of. When Danzo visited again, he was shocked to find that Aik still occupied 3 big bowls alone this time. And the other children, even those 2 or 3 years old, were all rolling on the ground moaning in pain. What makes Danzo's scalp tingle the most is that all these children are covering their crotches with their hands. Being a man, Danzo knew right away what they were suffering. Looking at Aik's eyes, he gradually became relieved. You are a good seedling, and the darkness in your heart is very strong. Danzo is very satisfied with Aik's performance. And took Aik to a dungeon full of 3-year-olds. Here the competition is fiercest. Danzo wants to see where Aik's limits lie. And Aik lived up to Danzo's expectations. After 2 days of dormancy, Aik took control of the dungeon. Firmly grasp all the food in the dungeon. Obviously he can only crawl, but Aik used all kinds of dirty tricks to snatch all the food from the children who are 2 or 3 years older than him. Even for this, Aik himself has paid a heavy price, but Aik is not like other children, crying out terribly. Aik just watched everything indifferently, so cold that he didn't look like a child at all. But Danzo doesn't care about any of that. The only thing Danzo cares about is Aik's extremely cold eyes. It is exactly what Danzo is after, a tool to annihilate emotion. Didera. Is it worthy of being Master Aik? You really have shown a different side since you were a child. Kakuzu. This look is full of killing intent. Jiraiya. Falling into Danzo's hands, and being subjected to such a cruel education. This time Aik's life may be completely controlled by Danzo. Uchiha Madara. HMPH. What do you know? All of this is Aik's forbearance. Sooner or later, he will gain enough strength to overthrow Gizang. Senju Hashirama. Although I know Madara that you have great confidence in Aik, but Aik's situation this time is really bad. Hyuga Hazashi. What is this? Even caged bird Aik can crack it, and it took years to endure it before it happened. This is just the beginning, don't jump to conclusions. The days passed. Aik also passed the crawling stage and began to walk tremblingly. Here. There was even less hope of the other children taking food from Aik. In the end, Danzo had to leave Aik alone in the dungeon. Because no other children can compete with Aik, and if Aik is allowed to monopolize the food, other children will starve to death. Danzo does not spare the lives of other children. Instead, I feel that this is just too much waste. Aik's excellence has been proven, and these kids can't make it harder for Aik to eat. Simply, Danzo let Aik live in a single room, and then arranged a bigger surprise for him when Aik became bigger and able to run. Aik changed the dungeon again. But this time, Aik's roommate is no longer a child, or even a human being. But a pack of hungry beasts. And Aik, it's like being fed food. Faced with many hungry eyes, Aik just turned his head silently and saw Danzo's expectant eyes. Then, Aik turned his head, his eyes became fierce. Ah! Aik let out a childish roar, and Tian rushed over. The hungry beasts didn't seem to expect that food would come to their door. But their reaction was obviously much faster than that of the children, and they opened their bloody mouths to swallow Aik in one gulp. But Aik slid down cunningly, avoiding the attacks of the wild beasts, and at the same time mixed into the wild beasts. Then, Aik bites hard on the leg of a beast. Instantly, fresh and splashy. The smell of blood made the group of hungry beasts go crazy. The entire dungeon suddenly fell into a frenzied chaos. Danzo looked at Aik, who was swaying from side to side like a boat among the beasts, and the appreciation in his eyes became stronger. Not bad. Really good. The chaos lasted for half an hour. In the end, the one who is still alive is naturally Ihime. Even though Aik's body was full of scars, Even though Ake's left leg and right arm were broken, he still stood stubbornly, showing his victory. And those wild beasts, in the chaotic battle, fell to the ground one by one with blood, and at this time they were all exhaling more air than inhaling. Not long to live. Crack, crack, crack. Good job, Ake. Danzo clapped his hands slowly, looking at Ake as if looking at a rough black gem. Starting today, I will give you a special test every week, and the difficulty of each test will increase. I hope you don't disappoint me. Ake looked at Danzo silently, didn't reply, just lay on the ground, tore off the fur of the dead beast, opened his mouth and started to eat like a wild beast. Subsequently, Danzo, as he says, puts Ake in a crazy fight every week. The number of beasts and the level of terror are increasing little by little. And every time, Ake has become the last survivor without any risk. Days like this lasted for half a year. Danzo took the initiative to stop this horrible behavior. It's not that Danzo is soft-hearted, but that Danzo can't find a suitable opponent. If the difficulty continues to increase, the current Ake will not be able to deal with the opponent. Seeing this, some people in the live broadcast room breathed a sigh of relief, and at the same time cursed at Danzo. Black soil. Damn Danzo. How dare you bully my husband Ake like this? Don't let me touch you, or I will definitely tear you to pieces. Little Sakura. Danzo is really disgusting. Why is this guy our advisor to Konoha? Ino. That's right. Who is this bastard who supports him to become a consultant? Where's the brain? Uchiha Izumi. It's really disgusting. Tsunade. Danzo, you are simply inhuman. Before Ake's injury is fully healed, throw him into the next meat grinder. What a ghost. Uzumaki Kushina. Desperate. This kind of person can still be Konoha's consultant? Are Konoha's senior management stupid? It doesn't matter. Onoki. Konoha's high-level executives are all classmates in the same class. They are playing class friendship there. Who cares what Danzo is doing secretly? Grandma Chio. The upper beam is not straight and the lower beam is crooked. This kind of thing has to be investigated to the source. Senju Tobarama. Just say my name. Second Tsuchikage. Do you think you can get away with it? Senju Hashirama. Bro, stop talking. Aren't you licking your face and hitting someone? Conan. Ake is so miserable, his injury is so serious. Ake had a good time for a while. Get plenty of food every day and no more frantic battles. But the good times always come to an end. When Ake was 3 years old, Ake's good days came to an end. Danzo brings Ake and the other kids together. Ake glanced briefly, and saw that they were all about 3 or 4 years old. Danzo stood in front of the children and said very seriously, I have a plan, pictured Root. And you are part of the plan. Once successful, you will become a member of Root and guard Konoha in secret. In order to ensure that you will not betray Konoha, I must eliminate the possibility of your betrayal from the Root. As Danzo said, he set up spell marks on the children one by one. Once they have any thought of rebelling against Danzo, they will lose their lives. The process of setting up the curse seal was very rough, and the children kept making various screams, which also made the children who hadn't started shivering in the back. Ake, on the other hand, just watched calmly. Even when it was his turn, even when Danzo put the seal on him, he didn't frown. And seeing this scene, the audience in the live broadcast room were all overwhelmed. Deidara. It's over, it's over. Master Ake is really under control. Hidan. This is all right. Master Ake has no chance of turning over. Hyuga Hazashi. Isn't this similar to our caged bird? Ake can undo the caged bird. Given enough time, the spell is naturally not a problem. Aburame Ryoma. Impossible. Master Danzo's seal cannot be lifted unless Master Danzo dies. Yamanaka Junichiro. That's right. And if you tamper with the curse mark, Master Danzo will feel it immediately. Letter. Unfortunately, it is impossible for the current Ake to resist Danzo-sama's will. Sigh. Brother. Yamanaka Fung. You guys are talking nonsense about Master Danzo's curse seal. Aburame takes the root. Because they are all seniors who have died in battle, Lord Danzo's seal can no longer take effect on them. Aburame Joe. I didn't expect Danzo to do such a thing to you. I really regret agreeing to send you to Danzo. Yamanaka Heiichi. I regret it too. Senju Hashirama. Madara. It seems that Ake really has no choice. Uchiha Madara. HMPH. Just believe in Aike. Doesn't he create too many miracles? Black Soil. That's right. Trust Aike's husband. Defeat Danzo. Terumi Mei. Why do I feel that Aike is so wrong this time? It's completely different from the one in the Hyuga clan. He doesn't seem to want to resist Danzo. Luo Shaw. What nonsense are you talking about? When Aike was in the Hyuga clan, he always wanted to take revenge on those who bullied him. Now that Danzo treats him like this, can he bear it? Pen. No matter how much you say, it's useless, you'll know after reading it. As Payne said, what they said in the live broadcast room could not affect the direction of the video at all. Because this is an established trajectory and will not be changed by anyone's will. What they see is all established reality. Of course, it is based on the results of the system. The video continues. Aike and other children who were imprinted with the curse began to undergo further training. The basic training includes chakra refining, hidden breath, quiet walking, and sneaking into the house. Of course, murder is essential. In the first lesson of training, Danzo brought in a dozen masked people who were tied to the pillars, and they struggled feebly. And Danzo's first order to them was to kill these people. One per person. All the children hesitated. They dare to compete with other people for food. However, this kind of killing without any purpose made them not know how to start. Until Aike stepped forward and chopped off a person's head with a knife in his hand. The fallen head rumbled to Aike's feet, and the black scarf covering the head was scattered on the ground, revealing a face with staring eyes. However, Aike just glanced at it, then looked away. As if he didn't kill a human being, but just an annoying fly. After basic training. This is the unique training set by Danzo. And these trainings are more cruel than the other. After finishing the basic training, the children, including Aike, were led down a hallway. The end of 5 meters is the end of the corridor. And at the end of the corridor, there is a stone platform, and on the stone platform is a scroll. Your task is to take back the scroll. Whoever finishes first will get a full meal. Others, of course they don't have dinner, Danzo said coldly. But no one dared to step forward, because in the hallway, there are sharp broken glass strewn all over. Just looking at it is enough to make your scalp tingle. The key point is that the broken glass completely covered the entire corridor. This is clearly a form of torture. No one would look at the glass in front of their eyes and dare to step forward. That's why people can't refuse to be hurt. But Aike stepped out without hesitation. Dar. The immature soles of the feet stepped on the broken glass, and the blood flowed down quickly. But Aike didn't care, not even the slightest change in his eyes. He walked forward step by step firmly, without the slightest wavering in his figure. The stunned 587 of the other children looked at Aike's back, and just listening to the small sounds of Aike's every step made their scalps tingle. However, Aike didn't waver at all. Haitu. Ah, husband Aike. How can you not cherish your body so much? Tsunade. It's so anti-human. This is simply torturing these children. Jiraiya. Behavior that destroys humanity. Danzo, you are simply not human. Tamari. It hurts to look at it. Aike doesn't even frown. Onoki. What a strong willpower. He has such a strong spirit at such a young age. Fourth Raikage. Although I have not seen this kind of training, but all the participants are adults. Let children participate in this cruel training. Danzo's heart is probably black. Grandma Chio. I also feel that something is wrong with Aike. Terumi Mei. Is that right? I dare say, this time Aike is definitely different from the previous ones. Soon. Without pausing, Aike retrieved the scroll. Danzo nodded in satisfaction, then looked at the other children seriously. You didn't have dinner today, and you have to continue training. Arrived the next day. After basic training, Danzo leads the children into a room. This special training is different from yesterday. In the room, there was only a pile of bonfires, with red stones in the center of the bonfires. On closer inspection, the children discovered that the stones were red-hot carbon. What made the children feel their scalps tingling was that there was a dark thing in the charcoal fire. Tell them directly that this dark thing is their training goal. Take it out. Danzo said coldly, frowning to settle the children's guesses. But still no one dared to reach out. Even if you just get close, you can feel the heat wave blowing against your face. If you put your hand in it, I'm afraid the skin will be roasted in an instant. Under such circumstances, how should they resist their instincts and throw their hands into the fire? When the children hesitated, a hand stretched in without hesitation. The tongue of fire licked this immature but full of scars arm, and the flame made the fluff on it burn. The arm quickly turned into a red patch, but Ache held onto the dark thing firmly. Laugh. The sound of high-temperature roasting came from Ache's palm. The dark thing was scorching hot, and it cooked Ache's palm. But Ache didn't even blink, and took out the things calmly. Give. Ache ignored his badly burned arm and handed the black thing, an iron body, to Danzo. Danzo also didn't share iron body's heat, taking over from Ache's hands. But Chakra's protection kept Danzo from being burned by the high temperature. He just felt a wave of heat. Well done. Danzo nodded in satisfaction. But there was already a shock in his eyes. Danzo also didn't expect that Ache still didn't hesitate in the face of such high temperature. The kind of burn that would make adults howl, but Ache seemed to be fine. But Danzo looked at Ache's trembling arm and knew that Ache didn't have a special physique without pain. This shows that Ache has far surpassed ordinary people in terms of pain tolerance. Haitu. Wu. Onoki. This willpower, even if the talent is not high, the future achievements will never be low. It is a pity that such a talent will soon be buried in the hands of Danzo. Fourth Rakage. It's really a pity, but there's nothing you can do about it. After all, Danzo is a coward who only sacrifices his subordinates while enjoying himself. Luo Sha. It's really strong willpower. I'm afraid nothing can shake him a bit. Tsunade. Danzo. Are you still human? Orochimaru. It seems to study Ache. I always feel that his body has a lot of secrets. Do. It's really interesting. On the third day, Danzo placed a dozen test tubes in front of the children. The water is poisonous and will not kill you, but it will make you feel that life is worse than death. Old rules, who comes first? Danzo's words were interrupted. He looked in surprise at Ache, who took down the test tube without hesitation and swallowed it down. His eyes twitched involuntarily. The poison this time was carefully prepared by him. As he himself said, this poison will not kill, nor will it cause any damage to the body. But the pain caused by the poison raging in the body will be very, very intense. Because it is a toxin that acts directly on the nerves. A little carelessness can directly destroy a person's spirit. And Ache drank the poison in the test tube without hesitation. Although Ache didn't know about the poison inside. But this firmness deeply shocked Danzo. Sudden. Ache's body suddenly hunched and fell to the side. The body is also shaking constantly. It can be seen how intense pain Ache is enduring. You know, even if he reached out to take iron body from the fire before, Ache's entire arm was burned, and he didn't show any severe symptoms. But this time, there was such a big reaction. The other children were all taken aback and moved away from the test tube. Even Ache rolled on the ground in pain, so naturally they dared not touch it. But even in such severe pain, Ache still gritted his teeth and did not let out a scream. Even with blood spilling from his mouth, Kakuzu didn't let out a single moan of pain. This willpower shocked Danzo. Sure enough, as expected of a good seedling, I fancy. There was a flash of excitement in Danzo's eyes. He has a hunch that Ache will be the best tool for his men. Little Sakura. Ache is so pitiful, he was in so much pain that cold sweat broke out on his forehead. Naruto. So strong. Sasuke. HMPH. I can do this too. Shikamaru. No, this level has exceeded the limit that ordinary people can bear. Even if they survive by luck, it may cause permanent damage to the spirit. Nara Luju. Terrible willpower, it's too strong. Ibiki Morino. With this kind of willpower, I definitely can't get a minister out of his mouth. Yamanaka Hayi. I even doubt that with this level of willpower, whether my secret technique can take effect on him. Onoki. Luckily, Danzo is in control of Ache. Danzo always succeeds but fails, and Ache will definitely be shoved to death by him. Fourth Rakage. Yes, I have no doubts about it. Luo Sha. It seems that we have all reached a consensus. Shang Guo Yagura. It seems that Danzo has aroused everyone's anger. Hanzo of the Salamander. HMPH. How could anyone not be angry about the things he did in the ninja world? Pain. Without him, this ninja world would never have come to this point. Next, Danzo came up with a lot of very brutal training. But every time, only Ake completed it successfully, and the others didn't even dare to try. In the end, Danzo could only use the power of the seal to force them to train, but they all cried and cried, but still no one succeeded. Danzo was disappointed by these children. But because of the comparison of these children, Danzo became more and more satisfied with Ake. Even occasionally when facing Ake, he would show a smiling face for the first time. Although that smiling face is very ugly, suddenly one day, Danzo came to the dungeon. But this time, he was no longer expressionless, but full of anger. Damn, you idiots. I trained you for so long, and I can't do anything. What's the use of me raising you trash? Raising you bastards is better than raising a bunch of dogs. At least the dogs can pounce on people. It's just a bunch of trash. Hoo. Danzo gasped heavily, eyes on the children. Like a vicious beast, his eyes are full of viciousness. The kids were already terrified by Danzo's anger just now. Seeing Danzo's sight now, they shrank behind Ake one by one. Ake, as always, did not waver. Snort. Danzo snorted coldly and forced himself to calm down. Afterwards, he took the children to a dark room. Swish. The lights are on. The faces of the children suddenly turned pale. In the room, there are densely packed snakes. And all in brightly colored lion majesty. Through this path, proceed to the next room as a success. Danzo said lightly. Then, the figure disappeared in a flash. The children were trembling in place, not daring to move. Some people even sat down on the ground with limp legs. Then, they silently watched Ake step forward without stopping. Swish. Feel the territory being invaded. A group of lion majesty immediately ejected, with their mouths open wide, their sharp fangs gleaming coldly. If so many lion majesty were bitten, anyone would be killed instantly. But, naturally, Ake would not allow a lion majesty to attack. After all, this training is not about facing an invulnerable target. It's a bunch of lion majesty. Ake didn't have to subject himself to the consequences of being corrupted by lion majesty. So, facing dozens of lion majesty rushing towards him, Ake escaped the lion majesty's attack with just a flash. Then he reached out and caught the lion majesty by their tails. With one flick, these lion majesties are thrown against the wall and transformed into snake spirits on the spot. The smell of blood made the snakes restless. They surged up one after another and approached Ake. Ake walked forward slowly, steady and cautious. He dashed forward without trying to get away with it. After all, Lion Majesty's offensive speed is also very fast. Wanting to rely on speed to run over is undoubtedly a dream. The only way to do it steadily is the safest way. Not long after killing hundreds of Lion Majesty, Ake finally came to the door of the second aspect. Looking back, those children still have no idea of making progress. Ake didn't bother. If these children still behave like this, I'm afraid Danzo will dispose of them soon. Entering the room, Ake looked up to see Danzo with a dark face. This is completely different from the usual Danzo. And Danzo, who scolded them before, was also a little abnormal. After a long silence, Ake asked abruptly, "Master Danzo, what happened?" Danzo looked at Ake in surprise, as if he didn't expect Ake to take the initiative to ask questions. However, Danzo hesitated for a moment, then said, "It's not about the position of Hokage. I hesitated for a moment, and that guy Hiruzen snatched the Hokage seat from my arms. That was supposed to be my Hokage." The more he talked, the more excited Danzo became, and the hatred in his eyes became more obvious. Unfortunately, the position of Hokage has been confirmed. If he wants to object now, it is naturally too late. And, alone, he can't shake Sarutobi Hiruzen's Hokage position at all. Not to mention, Sarutobi Hiruzen is a Hokage personally identified by Senju Tobirama. If I can take the initiative at that time, the position of Hokage will be mine. Danzo gritted his teeth to express his pity. Ake raised his head, looked at Danzo and said, "Don't worry, Master Danzo. I will definitely help Master Danzo become a Hokage." Danzo was taken aback again. Then, he said happily, "Ha ha ha. Then you have to keep working hard. You can't do anything right now." Ake looked at Danzo silently, without answering. But everyone in the live broadcast room exclaimed. Deidara. What? Master Ake really doesn't intend to resist. Hyuga Hazashi. This is not true. Ake must be holding back. Terumi Mei. I just said that Ake is not the same as before. His eyes are so cold, but there is no ambition. Grandma Chio. Ake seems to regard himself as a tool to complete the task by any means. Onoki. It's all right now. Ake has no hope of turning around. What good is there to be with Danzo? Fourth Raikage. It's a pity that such a good seedling can only be harmed by a guy like Danzo in the end. Kakashi. How will Ake make Danzo Hokage? It always feels very disturbing. Shang Guo Yagura. The key is that Ake doesn't intend to be Hokage himself. This is completely different from him before. Uchiha Madara. No. Brother Ake must be acting. He must be trying to trick Danzo and gain Danzo's trust. Senju Hashirama. Wake up, Madara, Ake has completely fallen. Tamari. Is Ake finally going to roll over again? Konkuro. I always feel that I am looking forward to Ake's overturn, but I always feel that the chance of this is not high. 2 years passed quickly. Ake is not only amazing in willpower, but also very strong in ninjutsu talent. Any ninjutsu can be learned in 2 or 3 strokes in his hands, and he can become a grandmaster in less than 2 days. In the past 2 years, he has learned many ninjutsu, and his strength is already stronger than the average chunin. It can be said that it has reached the level of special jonin. After more than 2 years of special training, Danzo felt that it was time for his team to shine. So, Danzo found Sarutobi Hiruzen with Ake and other children. Danzo, what are you? Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't figure out why Danzo came. Danzo was also unambiguous and said directly. This is the team I secretly trained, named Root, which means the root system hidden under the soil, because the trapped leaves provide the necessary nutrition. At the same time, it is also secretly helping Konoha to eradicate various threats. This time, I plan to let them try their hand. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at the dozen or so children who were expressionless, and said with a frown. But they are all just children. Isn't it too anxious to let them go to the battlefield so early? Danzo shook his head and said. They will not go to the frontal battlefield, only darkness is suitable for them. They will only perform shady tasks. For example, the target I specially selected this time is the daimyo of the country of water. Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes widened suddenly. Danzo, are you crazy? That's the name of a country, Danzo said indifferently. Since it's an experiment, it's natural to see how far they can do it. If they can't even achieve this level, they obviously can't bear the darkness of Konoha. And it's just some chess pieces. If you don't have them, you can continue to cultivate them. Anyway, in this troubled world, the most indispensable thing is war orphans. Sarutobi Hiruzen was silent. He was a little moved by Danzo. Although, letting these children perform this kind of task seems to send these children to death. However, since it is a team trained by a good friend Danzo himself, the strength should not be too bad. In that case, I'll leave it to you. But they must not bring anything related to the wood industry, so as not to cause trouble for Konoha after revealing their identities. The corner of Danzo's mouth twitched slightly. Naturally, I'm no fool. After the mission was approved, Ake immediately led the others towards the land of water. Deidara. Wait. Can this kind of mission be approved? Do you really send a group of children to die? Dried Persimmon Kisame. The daimyo of the country of water has many guards around him at all times. I failed to assassinate them, let alone these children. Onoki. Don't forget about Ake. He is a person who often creates miracles. Maybe he really succeeded in the assassination. Yagura. It doesn't matter if the assassination is successful. Without a name, it's nothing to the land of water. Luo Sha. Although Daming is the person in charge of the country, the military power is in the village, and the daimyo is just an ordinary person with power. If he wants to, he can be replaced at any time. Daimyo of the Wind Country. Oh? So Luo Sha. Do you think so? I always feel that the position of Kazekage seems a bit inappropriate for you. Grandma Chio. What are you doing for fun? It's all about your father's generation. Tamari. Only Grandma Chio can teach daimyo like this. Konkuro. Wow. That the daimyo is embarrassing. Will we be silenced? Gara. You think too much. A group of people entered the hinterland of the country of water through a hidden path. Water country daimyo and Kirigakure are not on the same island. This greatly reduces the difficulty of the task. Otherwise, before the assassination is carried out, I am afraid it will be discovered. Night fell. Ake led everyone to lie on the fence, relying on his body advantage, easily climbed over the wall and sneaked into the daimyo mansion. At this time, the daiming mansion is still brightly lit. You can even hear bursts of coaxing laughter from inside, as well as the looming music. Outside the daiming mansion, several elite ninjas are constantly patrolling. They are either jonin or special jonin. Just like the daimyo of the country of fire has the 12 ninjas who protect the country, the daimyo of the country of water also has similar people around him. Facing these strong men, the people around Ake were a little frustrated. Ake, with such a tight defense, we will definitely not be able to succeed. Ake said seriously. Nothing is impossible, as long as you find the right method, nothing is impossible. Some people still want to refute, but their mouths are blocked by the people next to them, and they lose the ability to continue talking. Stop talking. Ake always finds a way. The moon was gradually setting, because Mingfu had already become a harmonious place. In the entire daiming mansion, except for the ninja guarding the daiming, everyone else fell asleep. This makes the yard even more deserted. Cheer up, absolutely don't let the enemy have any chance to get close to the daimyo-sama. On the ninja side of the water country, a person who seemed to be a leader said. Others clearly have a lot of respect for this man. It seems that the patrolling ninjas have become more vigilant. But they didn't notice. At the darkest moment before dawn, a group of little guys sneaked into daimyo's bedroom in the darkness of night. At this time, the daimyo of the country of water was lying on the bed in large size, surrounded by several beautiful girls. This shows that the daimyo of the country of water enjoyed a passionate night last night. It just so happens that Ake is going to die for him today. Swish. Ake raised the knife in his hand, a thin line flashed, and the head of the water country daimyo gurgled to the other side. The seemingly unbelievable task was actually completed. When Ake brought back the news that the mission was successful, the other children were so excited that they almost cried out. Ake, you are amazing. You were able to assassinate the daimyo of the country of water amidst so many masters coming. This strength is really amazing. Let's go. If someone finds out that the daimyo of the water country is dead, we won't be able to escape. Ake is very calm, not complacent about completing the impossible task. The surprise on the faces of other children also quickly subsided. They also know that if the body of daimyo of the water country is found, it is absolutely impossible for these children to escape the border of the water country. After all, the country of water is one of the 5 great countries. Although it is slightly weaker among the 5 major countries. But compared with those small countries, it is still a behemoth. A group of people quickly fled the water country daiming mansion while the sky was still dark. On the way to escape, everyone's face was tense. Although the assassination was successful, they have not yet escaped from the kingdom of water. At any time, there is a possibility of being stopped by the ninjas of the country of water, or killed on the spot. But seeing that they were about to escape from the scope of the kingdom of water, the faces of the group finally couldn't hold back. Ake, you are amazing. How on earth did you do it? Someone asked excitedly. Ah. The mission was successful. Now we don't have to die. Some people are glad they are still alive. This impossible task has been completed by you, Ake. You are really amazing. Some people praised Ake's super efficiency. Before coming, no one expected them. Even 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen feels hopeless. But they went beyond their imagination and successfully assassinated the daimyo of the land of water, and they were about to escape from the land of water. No, it was Ake who broke the imagination. Everyone looked at Ake with excitement and admiration. If there is no Ake, the ending waiting for them is the failure of the plan, and the target is caught by the ninja of the water country after being exposed or killed during the resistance. Although they have long been awakened, but if they can live for a while, how can they refuse? Seeing that the frontier is the border of the country of water, everyone feels excited and uneasy. However, Ake, who made such an incredible move, was still full of vigilance on his face, looking from time to time to see if there were any pursuers behind him. In Ake's view, killing the daimyo of the country of water is only half of the mission. Only when he successfully leaves the daimyo of the country of water can he be said to have completed the mission. So for now, they're not done yet. Finally, seeing a group of people, led by Ake, about to rush out of the scope of the country of water. Ake, who was leading in front, stopped suddenly. The others didn't know why, so they could only stop. What happened? Someone didn't know what was going on, but thought Ake had spotted the pursuers. The others also thought of the same place and looked around vigilantly. However, they didn't notice that Ake, who had nothing to do with it, came out quietly. Swish sealed the throat with a knife. The boy with his throat cut off looked at Ake in disbelief, as if he didn't expect Ake to turn his back on him. Because the throat was cut off, no sound could be made at all. Others were also stunned by this sudden change. They stared blankly at Ake, who jumped down from the killer, not understanding why Ake would do this. But they stopped, but Ake didn't. In the blink of an eye, the cold sword light flashed, and several people had already fallen into Ake's hands. At this time, only then did the others come to their senses, and looked in horror at Ake, who made the sudden attack. Why? Someone questioned in disbelief. But there are also smart people who just turn around and run away. But Ake dared to kill anyone, so he was naturally ready not to let anyone go. Just in a minute, everyone died at the hands of Ake. This scene. The people in the live broadcast room were directly dumbfounded. Onoki. What is Ake doing? Could it be that Danzo gave him the task alone? But if that's the case, it's impossible for us not to know. Fourth Raikage. This is a typical murder, without revealing any information. But, why? Grandma Chio. You can escape, but the people in the country of water obviously didn't react. Why did Ake do that? Yugura. The daimyo was assassinated so simply, what are those guards doing? Kakashi. Why did Ake do this kind of killing of his companions? Could it be that Danzo really arranged it specially? Aburame Ryoma. I don't think so. Every root member is killed by his companions, there must be a sufficient reason, but here, there is obviously no similar reason. Deidara. So, you want to say that Master Ake killed them on his own initiative? Yamanaka Feng. There is only this possibility. The screen changed. Yan. Sorry. I only heard the sound of shoveling the ground rhythmically, and then the video began to back up, revealing a lifted shovel first, and the shovel was inserted into the ground forcefully, and a handful of soil was shoveled out. Then came the hands holding the shovel, and finally the owner of the hands, Ake. I saw Ake digging holes on the ground with a solemn expression. It can already be seen that he has dug 10 holes. The companions killed by Ake were 11. That said, this is the last hole Ake needs to dig. Soon. The hole was dug, and Ake gently put the dead body with eyes closed as if sleeping peacefully. The audience can even see that Ake even helped them to dress up and wipe off the erasable bloodline. This kind of behavior also made people in the live broadcast room more and more curious about Ake's behavior. It seems that Ake's behavior should not be Danzo's orders. Otherwise, there's no need for Ake to stay here and process the corpses at such a slow pace. Because if you want to destroy the corpse, the best way is to destroy the corpse and prevent others from taking the corpse and stealing information from the corpse. It is impossible to solemnly dig a grave for everyone like Ake. After burying the 11 companions, Ake stood up, took a few steps back, and made a deep bow with his hands together. So sorry to have your lives cut short. But since you have joined the root and become the subordinates of Master Danzo, you will inevitably face more such dark things in the future. In order to free your pure hearts from this sea of suffering, I can only do this to help you out. This kind of dirty matter, as long as it is handed over to one person. And this person is me. Ake finished speaking slowly, bowed again, and then left. 11 unmarked graves remained. Deidara. In order not to let other people get involved in the darkness, Master Ake actually made such a difficult choice. Kakuzu. Are you stupid? No matter how you look at it, Ake's behavior is weird, right? Terumi Mei. This brain circuit is completely different from ordinary people. Grandma Chio. It seems that there is going to be a strange Ake again, just like the puppet master Ake. Fourth Raikage. I don't know why, but I feel quite looking forward to it. With only himself left, Ake's speed immediately increased. It only took half a day to return to Konoha from the border of the country of water. Ake's return surprised and delighted Danzo, surprised that Ake actually came back. The good news is that Ake not only came back, but also completed the task assigned by Danzo. Water Country Daimyo is really dead? Are you sure? Danzo stared at Ake with suppressed joy on his face. Ake nodded silently and said, "Yes, Master Danzo." Danzo immediately grabbed Ake's shoulder with both hands and squeezed it hard. "Well done. You are worthy of being the one I fancy." Obviously, Danzo only cares about the success rate of the task. As for why Ake came back alone, it is obviously not in Danzo's first consideration. However, Danzo still asked, "Where are the others? Are you the only one coming back?" "I was the only one who survived," Ake said blankly. A look of pity flashed across Danzo's face. "These are also good seedlings, but none of them have come back now." "But it doesn't matter, with you here, everything is worth it." Danzo rubbed Ake's head with satisfaction in his eyes. "But..." Ake spoke suddenly. "It wasn't Miss Shinobi's pursuit force that killed them. It's me." Danzo was stunned, the smile on his face froze, and he asked with a hint of surprise. "You can kill? Why?" Danzo didn't understand very much. Why would Ake do this? Although Danzo didn't cultivate the root's emotion, he was even killing the root's emotion. But this behavior of killing his companion without his order clearly made Danzo very dissatisfied. If Ake can't give a qualified reason, even Ake Danzo will give a very severe punishment. Ake didn't waver because of Danzo's persuasive eyes and the killing intent from San on his body. He said very calmly, "I am enough to support the root system of Konoha. Too many complicated root systems will only make the whole organization complicated and unprepared to control. So, as long as you keep the strongest root system, that's enough." After a pause, Ake looked at Danzo and said word for word, "I will carry all the darkness on my back, and light the way for Konoha. And light the way to the Hokage seat for Lord Danzo." Ake's words made Danzo very satisfied. Especially the last sentence made Danzo feel elated. And Danzo himself is not very hopeful about this mission. After all, Danzo is not very clear about how strict the guards of the daimyo of the country of water are. Since Ake can accomplish such a difficult task, it is not impossible to hand over all the darkness at the root to Ake. If Ake can't bear it, Danzo will naturally give up Ake. But if Ake can bear it, it will be very good news for Danzo. A capable subordinate is obviously very important to Danzo. "Well, Konoha's darkness will be handed over to you. Don't let me down." Danzo looked at Ake meaningfully and said. Ake bows his head. "Yes, Danzo scale. Didera. Master Ake actually intends to move forward with heavy burdens. I also expect to see Master Ake directly subvert Danzo and replace him. Kakisame Kisame. I also want to see what kind of path Ake can lead Konoha. Uchiha Fugaku. HMPH. Are you all blind? Obviously Ake led our Uchiha clan to conquer the entire ninja world before. Luo Sha. Uchiha and Konoha can no longer be confused, right? After all, Uchiha has only one orphan left in Konoha. Uchiha Iron Tree. Damn it. I can't even refute it. Uchiha Hikari. It's all the fault of those traitors. Onoki. Ake, who walks in the dark, really makes people look forward to what kind of performance he will have. Hanzo of the Salamander. Thinking of the previous puppet master Ake, I always feel that the ninja world will be shrouded in darkness. In a blink of an eye, several years passed by Tiantian. With Ake's help, Danzo's roots are active in the dark side of the ninja world. Many important missions were killed by Root's assassination, eliminating the threat to Konoha. However, the continuous dangerous tasks also caused serious damage to the Root members. Fortunately, it is still the period of the Ninja World War, and there are everything for war orphans. Danzo came to the orphanage with his most capable subordinate, Ake. Here, Danzo and Ake meet Yukushi Nanoyu, who has retired from the Roots. Seeing the expressionless Ake, Yukushi's face froze and his body trembled uncontrollably. She thought of Ake's ruthless approach when she followed Ake on a mission. Whether it is against the enemy or against one's own people, all the same ruthless. It was because of the fear of Ake that he took the initiative to come to the orphanage controlled by Genbu, just to avoid meeting Ake. Unexpectedly, I still ran into Ake, but I just stood behind Danzo and didn't pay any attention to Yukushi Nanoyu. Danzo didn't beat around the bush, and put forward his request directly. This request made Yukushi Nanoyu and other directors of the orphanage feel awkward. After all, these orphans are too young, and they know what the roots are like. Just training is one of 10. Sending the child there is tantamount to killing the child directly. But if they don't let them go, obviously Danzo won't let them go either. In the end, they had no choice but to agree. The goal is achieved. Danzo leaves with Ache. In the orphanage, Danzo has a crush on Yukushi Kabuto. Danzo, who has a unique vision, immediately saw the darkness hidden in Yukushi Kabuto's heart. So he threatened Yukushi Nanoyu to let Yukushi Kabuto join his roots. In order to protect Yukushi Nanoyu, after struggling several times, Yukushi Kabuto nodded and agreed. Danzo nodded, and with just a few threats, he was able to accept a seedling with good potential, which made Danzo very satisfied. But the next moment, the cold light disappeared in a flash. The light in Yukushi Kabuto's eyes dimmed, and he collapsed powerlessly. Danzo froze for a moment, and found that Ache had killed Yukushi Kabuto directly, and couldn't help frowning. "I didn't give the order," Ache said, neither humble nor overbearing. "Master Danzo, he has no loyalty to you or to Konoha. It's definitely not a good thing for Konoha to let such a person stay at the root and touch those secrets. And Master Danzo has also seen his potential. If such a good seedling becomes Root's enemy in the future, it will definitely be a trouble. Since it is a trouble, it must be eradicated as soon as possible. What Root needs is someone who is absolutely loyal to Danzo-sama and Konoha. This kind of vacillating guy is not rooted." Danzo was taken aback for a moment, then he thought about what Ache said was indeed reasonable. The own threat really hit Yukushi Kabuto's soft spot. But again, this proves that Yukushi Kabuto can't have any loyalty to him. Not to mention the loyalty to Konoha. If such a loyal and suspicious guy stays, it will undoubtedly be a threat to the tiger. Thinking about it this way, Danzo found that Ache did a lot. "It's my own lack of consideration. Good job, pay attention to maintain this vigilance." Danzo nodded, ignored the fallen body on the ground, turned and left. Ache hurriedly followed, expressionless. On the contrary, the live broadcast room became very lively after Ache killed Yukushi Kabuto. Didera. Is this killing? This is too decisive. Fourth Raikage. But I have to say that it has indeed solved a future disaster. Yugura. Just showing a little hesitation, and then relentlessly attacking, even if the other party is just a child. This time Ache is really ruthless. Terumi Mei. Ache, who walks in the dark, has a unique charm. Little Sakura. But Ache just killed a child. Obviously at this time the pocket has not done anything. Orochimaru. It is a very smart choice to nip danger in its infancy. Yukushi Kabuto. Orochimaru-sama, it really hurts me to say that. Onoki. I'm afraid this time Ache will create a bloodbath in the dark. I have this hunch. Luosha. I have to admit that Ache's vision is very poisonous, and he can tell at a glance that Yukushi Kabuto has a bone in the back of his head. Grandma Chio. This Yukushi Kabuto is usually smiling, and he is not a good person at first glance. It is better to solve it as soon as possible, so as to save so many troubles. Konkuro. Although I want to say that this child has done nothing yet and is obviously very innocent, but thinking about the things he will do in the future, I think it is better for him to die. Tamari. Indeed, after Yukushi Kabuto inherited Orochimaru's ninjutsu in the future and sent most of the ninja powerhouses to impure world reincarnation, he caused a very large loss to the ninja coalition, which is absolutely unforgivable. Somewhere in the forest of the Land of Fire. Go to Ache and find a dizzy Danzo just about to take a break. Turning around, I saw that the second video had already started playing in the live broadcast room, and it seemed that it had been some time. Then, Danzo saw that Ache became his subordinate this time. Danzo was taken aback by this. What's the situation? In reality, I searched for so long. As a result, in the video, he became my subordinate directly? Then why can't such a good thing happen in reality? Then, Danzo saw Ache kill Yukushi Kabuto, who was only a few years old, and said that a vacillating person like Yukushi Kabuto would definitely become a scourge in the future. Danzo in reality immediately nodded in sync with Danzo in the video. Indeed, the old man was wrong at the beginning. He didn't expect that a little ghost could cause such a big trouble to the whole ninja world. It's a pity that the old man was only concerned about the loss of Gen and didn't deal with him in time. When trying to get rid of him, he was already taken away by Orochimaru. Danzo shook his head regretfully, then found a rock and sat down to watch it quietly. Anyway, I have to rest for a while, why not see what Ache will do under his own hands? Shall I subvert myself like the Hyuga clan did? Or, like Uchiha, open yourself up to the sky? Danzo's personal expectation is the second, but Danzo feels more likely to be the first. I don't know how long time has passed. The video screen turned to a place with continuous clouds and continuous drizzle. Then it turned around again, and came to a room with only a few candles lit with a faint light. Danzo sat on the ground, opposite him was the masked Hanzo of the Salamander. Ache stood behind Danzo as always, silent as Danzo's shadow. Hanzo, are you doing nothing to those rats in your garden? Danzo said in a cold voice. I've heard that this group of guys who call themselves Shao have assembled a large number of people, and their prestige among the common people is also very high. I'm afraid it will shake your rule. Hanzo of the Salamander snorted coldly and said. This is a matter of our country of rain. What does it have to do with you, Konoha? Hanzo of the Salamander looked at Danzo vigilantly. He was not afraid of Tuan Sui's sneak attack. However, he is very afraid of Ache behind Danzo. According to legend, there is an extremely sharp blade in the root of Danzo, which can cut off any obstacles in front of Danzo. The dark side in the ninja world can be said to be widely spread. Moreover, Hanzo of the Salamander could clearly feel that there was no leak in Ache. It makes Ache look like a regular guy. But how can the people who can be deliberately brought by Danzo be ordinary people? Not even Hanzo of the Salamander can see through Ache. This made Hanzo of the Salamander fearful even more. Danzo didn't notice Hanzo of the Salamander's eyes, but briefly explained his purpose. I'm just here to offer a little help. After all, it is in our Konoha's best interest that you live. The group of guys who claim to be free have no idea how the world works. Their existence will only make the battle situation more chaotic. After a pause, Danzo looked at Hanzo of the Salamander and continued. What we Konoha need is a unified country of rain, not a country of rain falling apart. I think you should understand what I mean. Ah. Hanzo of the Salamander sneered and said. Don't you just want me to be a barrier between you and the country of thunder and the country of Tien? HMPH. I am Hanzo of the Salamander. As long as I am alive, I will never let you touch an inch of the land of the rain. At this moment, Hanzo of the Salamander was full of heroism, and the majesty that fought Sannin back then seemed to still be on him. Danzo nodded and said. Since this is the case, I will provide some insignificant help, hoping to calm down the chaos in the land of rain as soon as possible. The conversation is over. Danzo leaves with Ache. When there was no one around, a smile appeared on the corner of Danzo's mouth, obviously very satisfied with his plan to drive away the wolf. The expelled wolf had no idea what it was going to face. Danzo was clearly pleased with his strategy, but just when he was smug, Ache, who was silent beside him, suddenly spoke. Master Danzo, although your strategy is good, it is not perfect. Danzo frowned, looking behind dissatisfied. This is the plan I've been thinking about for 10 days and 10 nights, it must be perfect. However, if you have any suggestions, you can just say so, and I will see if there is a need to adopt it. Ache said lightly. The brilliance of this strategy of your lord is to drive Hanzo of the Salamander to fight against the Akatsuki organization whose strength has not yet been discovered, and let the two sides kill each other in the battle. After they have suffered heavy losses, your lord will lead me and other people clean up the mess. I have to say that your lord's strategy is very clever. After saying something, Danzo nodded again and again, with a smug look on his face. At this time, Ache changed the topic and said quite seriously. But have you ever thought about whether the strength between the two sides is equal? Danzo froze for a moment, and looked at Ache in a daze. Something appeared in his mind, but he couldn't see it clearly. Ache didn't hold back and continued. My lord, Hanzo of the Salamander is a man called a demigod, and even Lord Orochimaru and the three of them cannot defeat him. Will the people from the Akatsuki organization really be the opponents of Hanzo of the Salamander? I'm afraid that the Shao organization will be easily defeated by the Hanzo of the Salamander who prepared in advance. After the leader is killed, the remaining people will be absorbed by the Hanzo of the Salamander. In this case, it will only encourage the influence of Hanzo of the Salamander, and Lord Danzo's plan will come to naught. This time, Danzo completely understood. The calmness on his face no longer existed, only the calmness remained. Seeing this, the audience in the live broadcast room immediately started talking. Deidara. As expected of Master Ache, he is indeed a master. Onoki. After this time, there will indeed be a party that will become stronger, but unfortunately it is not Hanzo of the Salamander, but the Akatsuki organization. Fourth Raikage. This can't be wrong, after all. Ache didn't know the strength of Nagato's Rinnegan, so he made a wrong judgment. Kakuzu. If the established trajectory is followed, this incident will lead to the birth of our current Akatsuki organization, but now that Ache is involved, how will things change? Dried persimmon ghost shark. That really makes people curious, and I can't wait to see what happens next. Grandma Chio. Since Ache has seen the flaws in Danzo's broken plan, he will definitely find a way to modify it, but I don't know how to modify it. Terumi Mei. This is an evil Ache, I can't imagine what kind of things he will do. Scorpion. It can be expected that many people will die in the end. Konkuro. Could it be like the puppeteer that made everyone sacrifice? Kakashi. Certainly not. After all, Gen's goal is to protect Konoha, so Ache will definitely protect the people who are good at Konoha. Luo Sha. Danzo thinks his strategy is perfect, but it turns out that every time Danzo's strategy has many loopholes, it will become a hazard to Konoha and even the entire ninja world in the future. Cedar Juice Yagura. What you said is true, but the direction of the matter is a bit confusing. Pain. Without Danzo, the entire ninja world would have fewer unnecessary sad incidents. Conan. Group dicks are not worthy of Hidan. This means that good people don't live long, and evil people live for thousands of years. After listening to Ache's words, Danzo immediately felt that the plan he thought was perfect was now full of loopholes, like a plug. He grabbed Ache's arm and said in a panic, "Then what should we do? Even if we want to change the plan, it's too late. Could it be that the plan I've been thinking about day and night is going to fail like this? If that guy Hiruzen finds out about this, I won't be able to hold my head up in front of him." Ache said calmly, "Don't worry, my lord, I have a plan here." Danzo's eyes lit up immediately, and he said hastily, "Quick. Tell me quickly. If you have any plans, tell me quickly." Ache said calmly, "I'm fine with this, it's also driving away wolves and tigers. This Lang is strong enough, and will definitely bite the bait I throw, because their situation is not very easy, and they definitely want a way to break the game." Danzo's eyes were blank and he didn't know who Ache was talking about. "Can you keep it simple? I'm a little confused." Ache looked southwest and said, "I'm going to attract people from the Land of Winds into the game. Let the people of the Kingdom of Wind feel that there is an opportunity to plant a nail belonging to them among the other 3 major countries. Once given this opportunity, Kazekage from the Land of Winds will never let it go." Danzo's eyes suddenly brightened. Hurry up and get ready." Ache nodded. "Yes, this subordinate will set off now." In a flash, Ache disappeared in place. All that was left was the excited look on Danzo's face. Third Kazekage. I didn't expect Ache to come up with this idea. If I have this opportunity, I will definitely join. Grandma Chio. The Land of Rain is indeed very important. The Land of Rain bordering the 3 major powers will always be the center of war, which will always make the Land of Rain the biggest victim of the war. Fourth Raikage. If such a strategic location is planted with an unknown nail, it will indeed be hard to guard against. Onoki. Ache really is a good plan. Hearing this news, I am afraid that Third Kazekage will bring someone here immediately. Even if it is a trap, he can't let it go. Terumi Mei. It seems that among the 5 major countries, the country of Wind will be the first to suffer. Kakuzu. After all, this plan only has a unique effect on the Land of Winds. Deidara. Then we can watch a good show. Kakashi. What a plan to drive away wolves and tigers, it is indeed much better than Danzo's plan. Orochimaru. As expected of Ache, it never disappoints. Uchiha Madara. Of course. That's my brother Ache. Senju Hashirama. Madara, have you forgotten the time when we used to pee against the wind in the river together? Senju Tobarama. Brother, can you stop mentioning this kind of old stuff? How old are you? Jiraiya. Alas, This time Ake seems to be about to set off another bloodbath. Sitting on the rock watching the live video, Danzo's expression changed constantly. A moment of anger and a moment of embarrassment. In short, his face is like a rainbow, which is very weird. Afterwards, Danzo couldn't help but sighed and said, "Hey. How come I didn't think of this plan at the beginning? When the time comes, when these two parties are in a melee and both losers, I may take action. Maybe the Xiao organization may be destroyed by me in advance. It's a pity, I can only say that it is Ake." Swish. Danzo stood up, his eyes became determined. "No. How can I rest now? I didn't even find Ake. How did I have the face to sit and rest? Ake. Wait for me. I'll come to you right away." Danzo set off immediately, and started searching aimlessly again. And in the live broadcast room, as soon as the picture turned, it shifted from the smirking Danzo to the desert full of yellow sand. Whizzing. The two figures disappeared in a flash. Then the screen immediately followed up. These are two sand shinobi. Both of them carried something wrapped in bandages by one of them on their backs. This is apparently a puppeteer exclusive to sand shinobi. These two puppet masters are patrolling near Sanagakure. This is a daily patrol. Although the two are on alert enough, they are obviously not up to the highest standard. You said, when will this war end? Who knows? Anyway, as long as it doesn't hit us, it will be like last time, and many people will be killed or injured. Oh, war, it's really scary. My cousin died in the last war, and he didn't even bring his body back. I'm better than you. My sister's body was brought back, although only part of it. D. The two looked at each other and sighed in unison. For low-level people like them, war is obviously very cruel. As for the victory or defeat of the war, for this kind of low-level people, there is no need to think too much. That's something those higher-ups need to think about. What they have to do is to stand up and fight when needed. Because the current battlefield is not within the scope of the Kingdom of Wind, even if the two of them were patrolling the border of the Kingdom of Wind, they did not raise enough vigilance. So much so that they had already been stared at by someone without even noticing it. It's like a hunter quietly waiting for the prey to approach. Ake held his breath, and just after the two got close enough, he suddenly exploded. Swish. With one knife, he cut off a person's neck neatly. And the other person, Ba, was instantly subdued by Ake. The next operation is very simple. First, put a curse mark on the subdued puppet master to ensure that the other party is threatened with life. Later, Ake continued to use the illusion hypnosis puppeteer to change his will. In this way, a tool man who obeys orders and cannot betray even if he wakes up is made. Remember, you go to Fengying, and then do this, do you understand? Ake whispered into the puppeteer's ear for a while, and then told him to return to Sanagakure. And Ake quietly returned with the puppeteer. The puppet master is the first insurance, and he is the second. Ake must ensure that this plan can be implemented smoothly. Otherwise, Ake's status in Danzo's heart will plummet. This incident is absolutely unacceptable to Ake. Soon, Ake followed the controlled puppeteer back to Sanagakure. As soon as the puppet master entered the village, he immediately ran to the Fengying building with a panicked face.